All right, guys, let's dive into this training. So, sharing screen. This is a good one. This is going to be about, this is going to be a very high level training. So the point of this is I realize that a lot of you guys, when you're first coming in, don't have a lot of context or a lot of understanding about how online businesses work and how you can step in and help these people. So when you get on those sales calls, because you don't know the full picture, it makes it a little harder for you to find ways to help them and to speak intelligently in a way that makes them feel like, this man gets it. So there's some resources out there to help you with that, but I wanted to put together one in-house that's specifically tailored to what you're going to be doing, so you'll know how you can basically show up and help any business grow. That's the goal here, right? Like a lot of you guys ask, what's a good discovery project, or what's a good thing I can upsell my clients on? And what we're going to go over today is going to kind of give you the direction you need in order to find out how to do that with basically any business online. If they're a business and they're online, even if they're offline, this is going to show you exactly what you need to do to make that happen. So let's dive in. So how to make online business work. So basically businesses they're essentially just a series of touch points where value is exchanged at mutual benefit to both parties, right? So businesses, if you really want to get all abstract about it, it's really just a series of touch points. So when I say touch points, I mean things like websites, emails, conversations, sales calls, registration pages. They're all just a bunch of touch points where a business interacts with a customer and they trade value for mutual benefit. So the business usually provides products or services that create positive outcomes in the lives of their customers. And in return, the customers provide value to the businesses in the form of giving them money or engagement, right? So it's pretty simple. It's just a trade. The business gives value, and then the customers pay for it. So the trades start small and they build their way up. The way most businesses are structured, they don't just take you straight into high ticket. You don't just meet someone on the street and then the next thing you know, they're pitching you on a $50,000 ticket item, right? Typically businesses start small. They have smaller things that they use to get, they trade smaller amounts of value for an initial amount of attention or money, and they kind of work that way up, and that's how relationships and trust are built, right? So at first, it's generally just trading information for attention, right? Like if you think about a Facebook ad, you're promising them some sort of information, you're promising them some type of value, and they're giving you attention in return for it. That's the first trade that happens, and then obviously you level up, right? And then you trade for a low ticket offer, blah blah blah. Next thing you know, if you set your thing up right, they're paying you tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars for a product, and you're producing some serious life-altering, high-order life outcomes for them. So when you own a business or you're helping someone who owns a business, the goal then becomes to help the most amount of people possible, right? To hit the highest scale as possible. So help as many people as possible, solve bigger and bigger problems to receive bigger and bigger rewards so that your lifetime value per customer goes up. So help a lot of customers and help them solve big problems in a way that's going to result in higher value for you, right? So the bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the pain they have, the more they're generally willing to pay for that. The higher the lifetime value of a customer, so of those people that go through your marketing or business machine, the higher that the average value is that you get. Say you have 1,000 customers and you make a certain amount of money, you can average out and say that, my lifetime value of a customer is $134 on average. So I can pay $133 to acquire customers to be profitable. Anyways, the goal is to help as many as possible, as deeply or as effectively as possible to make the most money, right? That's the game. So most of the things you do as a copywriter are going to fall under either, number one, helping these businesses find more people to sell to, or number two, selling more of those people that they already have, right? So those are really kind of just the main two levers that you're going to help people with their business, right? That's going to be the lens that you look at it with during your discovery calls and while you're sitting around planning on how you can help a business grow and scale. So let's talk about some ways that you can, well, first off, let's pause and do some Q&A. So we've kind of covered some fairly abstract concepts. I want to make sure you guys understand it to some level. So basically we've said that a business is just a series of touch points where you trade, you give, the business gives the customer value and the customer in return pays or engages with that content in the form of money or attention. right? Or sharing or something like that. And if you're going to help a business, there are two main ways to help them. You can either help them sell to more people, so find more people to sell to, or you can help them sell more to the people they already have access to, their audience, for example. Do you guys have any questions about what any of that means, or any questions about the general concept we've discussed so far? Pause, check for learning, make sure you guys understand what's going on. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, now's the time to ask them about this. Anybody? Okay, well, let's move on. So the first one, how do you find more people for business to sell to? So how, if you show up, what are some of the ways, how does that work? How do you find people for the business to sell to? Well, first of all, you really need to define the avatar. Now, an avatar in marketing speak is like a person. It's an abstraction of who your target market is, right? So basically, you just need to ask yourself who is the ideal customer? Who does the business want to sell to, right? Is it females 25 to 35 who've just gone through a relationship breakup and are deeply sad and alone? Is it 65-plus-year-old investors who are looking to supplement their retirement income? You need to figure out who the best client is for your business, the business that you're helping, and really dig in and understand who they are. So what do they look like? What is their situation? What are their pains and frustrations? You need to pick who your dream customer is. That's step one. And in order to find more people like them to sell to, you then need to ask yourself, okay, what are they trying to get? And then where are they congregating online? So where can you find these people? So once you know who you're reaching out to, you need to figure out ways to target them. It's like they exist, but they exist already online. They're in communities. They're members of Facebook or Instagram. We have data about them. They listen to certain podcasts. You can find places that they are already online, and then you can then loop them into your world by providing a bridge. So you need to think about, once you know who they are, you then get to ask yourself, what kind of value exchange can I provide to them to bring them into my world as a business owner, right? So typically that's like a debate. What can I offer them? Like what free value, what gift, what low ticket offer can I offer them that will get them to come from wherever they are online into my world? So then they can then become part of my audience, and I can continue to sell to them, right? This is a fun process. You get to think about them, and it's almost like you're hunting. I grew up hunting in Southeast Texas as a kid. And so you don't just like go out and like walk in a grid pattern in the woods until you find a deer and shoot it, right? The way we did it is we learned like, I learned a lot about how deer work, how they think, at least whitetail in Southeast Texas, where they like to bed down, where they go to get water, where they go to eat at certain times of the day. And then I could position myself in opportune places to nail one, right? Also, I could think of, hey, if I lay out corn in this field, like it will attract them and they'll come to me. They'll move from where they are along this trail into my world, and I can target them, right? It's a little bit different situation here. We're not like killing our target avatar, but we're bringing them into our world, providing value for them. It's a little bit different, but it's a similar mindset as far as you need to start thinking about where they are, what they're currently doing, and what you can do to like reach out into their world and bring them into yours. So, once you've thought about that, what can you give them in return for them joining your audience, signing up for email lists, or buying from you? So basically, once you have something like that, something you can attract them with, there's a couple different ways you can get them. You can do cold traffic. You can do like paid ads on Google, YouTube, Facebook, etc. Random websites. You can do paid ads and put your offer, put your low ticket offer or your lead magnet out in front of them in these different places where they already exist, like on Facebook, for example, and then bring them into your world they can opt in. You can also create content. So instead of paying for their attention, you can create content that these different platforms will promote, things like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. There's all these different ways that you can put things that are out there that they'll be attracted to that will then funnel them into your low ticket offer or your lead magnet. And then another one, now this is a slightly more advanced approach, but you can do an affiliate or joint venture deals with other related brands. So there's these other tribes that they exist in already, people with audiences. So one company can work with another, they can do a revenue share or do a bliss swap, and they can cross sort of pollinate these different audiences to get more people that, your target avatar that's out there listening to someone else, you can get them to start listening to you, move them up your into your low ticket or low ticket offer. So that's kind of how roughly how lead acquisition works, right? That's how finding new customers for your brand works. You need to understand who you're reaching out to, what they're like, what they're dealing with, and what they want. Again, the more you understand about those 4 under the hood questions in the other training, the better you'll be able to do this. And then you need to ask yourself, where are they at right now? Where are they congregating at online? And then what can I give them that will make them curious and interested and willing to step into my world so I can bring them onto my email list? So that's the first way that you can help a business, is by helping them grow their audience, to find new people that are their dream avatar and bring them into their list, into their marketing world. Do you guys have any questions about that whole process? That's the tip of an iceberg of a very, very big world. It's not something we've talked a whole lot about so far in HU2, but what question do you guys have about helping businesses find more people to sell to? Any questions? No question. Okay, here we go. I can hear you now. What's your question?
Tell me if this is a stupid question. Is this the only way? Like, I know, like with lead magnet. I mean, are there other ways of doing this, finding new customers aside from lead magnets?
For businesses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can do different things. It's not necessarily just a lead magnet, right? Like you can also just directly sell a product to them. That product can be the bridge, a low ticket or even a high ticket product can be the bridge. It depends on the situation. Lead magnets are really common though. There's a lot of different kinds of lead magnets. It's not just like a PDF guide, for example, the really popular ebook one, or a checklist. It can be anything it can be any deliverable, really: audio, program, video, course, free online course. You can do a free strategy call. There's a million different things you can do. You can have them opt into. Basically, it's that first rate. I'll give you a little bit of value. You give me your email address or a little bit of money, and then you become part of my world, right? There's a lot of different ways you can. That answer your question though, as far as like, yeah, there's different ways you can bridge that gap of where they're at right now into your world.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah, you can directly sell to them, right? Like a lot of us, like the approach you guys are doing is you're sending, free value. There's some people that you can send direct. You can just do a sales call, right? There's a lot of people that cold call all day long, and all they do is they sell that appointment, or they sell a low ticket product, right? Or an entry level product. So a lot of ways to do it. Laris, what do you got?
Yeah, so I ran into a problem a couple times with a couple customers where they were apprehensive to sell more to their existing client base. I think they thought maybe they were spamming isn't the right word, but sort of like abusing, and the customer. And I'm like, look, I try to explain to them, like, their business has to grow, whatever. How do you convince people that aren't on the surface money driven and selling to more customers that they actually have to sell to more customers? Otherwise, the fucking business is going to die.
That's a very good question, and I'm going to get to that when we go into this sort of second section. Right now, we're going to focus our questions around like how do we help people sell to new people, right? Because that's an important part of business. Every business needs to do that. That's the second part of this training here. We're going to dive into that, and then at the end of it, I'd like you to re-ask your question then, because I do want to answer that question.
Great. Thanks.
All right, Dylan, what do you got?
Hey man, how you doing? Whenever you're talking about finding your customer avatar, that's more or less the customer for your client, correct? It's not so much the customer in the niche. Okay, just clarify.
Yeah, so what we're talking about here is it's assuming we're looking at it through the lens of you've got someone you're trying to help, you've got a business owner you're trying to help. Yeah, and when I talk about avatar or selling more to their existing customers, I'm talking about the people they're selling to, their end customers, people on their email list, their YouTube channel, the people that have bought their low ticket products or their high ticket coaching programs or whatever. That's what we're talking about here. All I see is Zoom user. What do you got for me, Mr. Zoom user?
All right. Yeah, this is Ace. You hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say was your most effective way of building the email list? I know you say find out where they congregate at, but like, what would you say was your most effective way doing that?
Ooh, I don't know if I want to find out where they conjugate at, but where they congregate, yeah. There's a lot of different effective ways. And the thing is, there is no one way to bring in every person under the sun. This is extremely avatar driven. So people respond differently to different things based on who you're reaching out to, right? So there's a lot of effective ways. There's a million different things, but you really have to ask yourself, who's my avatar? What's their biggest pain or frustration? What are they really, really worried about? Or what are they dreaming of desperately? And what piece of value can I give them that's related to that would make them interested enough to throw their email address or get out their credit card and step into my world, right? There's a lot of different ways to do that. Like I said, you can do PDFs, you can do videos, you can do quizzes, you can do video courses. There's a lot of things you can do. But there is no secret marketing one size fits all webinar that like attracts everybody, and there's no like it's the most effective thing. That doesn't exist. It's all driven based on the avatar, their needs and their desires. Answer your question?
Perfect.
All right, perfect. Joseph, what do you got?
Hey, what's up, Andrew? I was just wondering, so should we just focus primarily on like their primary avatar first and then like worry about targeting their secondary, or kind of
Of course.
tackle it all together?
So a lot of businesses make the mistake of focusing on and trying to write to everybody or trying to sell to everybody, and they lose effectiveness, right? You can literally make like 10 times more money if you focus on just one avatar first, right? Unless you're helping a brand that's like past the $10 million a year mark, you have just help them pick one avatar, their best avatar, the one that's in the most pain, that's going to pay them the most, and just help them focus on that, right? Secondarily, you can reach out to other avatars on their list, I suppose, but you're going to get way more reward for your time if you really get good at talking to that one specific avatar and finding them and bringing them in, because then you can tailor everything to them, right? Alex Hormozi talks about this in his book. He steals it from Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy talked about he made an example of like and he stole from someone else, I'm actually sure, but he talked about he made the example of like a time management course, right? Like if you're just going to sell a random, like an average time management course, so how to manage your time better, you can maybe sell it for $20, maybe, right? Just an average one. But if you said time management for salespeople, well, now you can sell it for a little bit more, right? If you go and you could sell it for maybe $100, so you could tie it to like, hey, this helps you make an additional sale or close 10% more, right? If you tied it to time management for B2B sales rep, you could sell it for even more, right? And he made the example all the way to like, if you were saying, hey, this is a time management program for B2B, like farming equipment sales reps, like that guy would know that it's for him. He would know it's very valuable for him. It's going to work for him because it's specifically designed for him, and he can buy it, right? He could pay $20,000 for that because he gets the, hey, this could make my career, right? And it could be pretty much the exact same content, just tailored down a little bit, like deeper into that niche. So the more you niche down initially, right, the more profit you can make at the scale that most businesses are operating on, right? If you're Google, it's a different story, right? If you're Facebook, it's a different story. But if you're a YouTube personality, dude, you will make more money if you niche down.
Thanks, Andrew.
Focus on one. Yeah. Because think about it, like all the time and energy you think into understanding the avatar and writing that avatar, if you focus on one person, you can go way deep. And the deeper you go, the stronger you can influence them. If you just kind of learn how to do that on the surface, if you take that same amount of time, say 10 hours that you spent on the research, and you split it out between 3 different avatars, well, now you've only researched each avatar 3 times. So the guy that spent the time to do 10 hours of research and really understand how to motivate them, he's going to write way better stuff than you can, right? So you want to focus your efforts into one single outlet because it's going to make you more effective. Anyways, hope that should have answered your question. Polaris, what do you got for me?
All right. When thinking of the avatar, obviously I have to go wherever they conjugate and figure out exactly what they're talking about. But is it fair to try to understand their psychological? So what do you prioritize in terms of when you're designing what to write for? Is it psychological profile, occupation, socioeconomic, IQ? Like, does that make sense? Is it to give you some sort of a framework, right? Because I could go and.
So how do you think of what their demographics are? Yeah. So I've got some resources about this in the research thing. Sorry, the reason I'm laughing is because you guys keep saying conjugate instead of congregate.
No, I was fucking
joking.
around. I was fucking around.
Okay.
I know.
Okay, that's cool.
I know.
I just want to make sure. I was like, hey, you guys, before you guys keep saying this, go look up the meaning of that word.
No.
That
was a callback, bro. It was a callback.
Okay, it's cool. Cool. I'm here for it. I enjoy the jokes. They're good. Yeah. So when defining your avatar, obviously, the more detailed you can get, the better. You're going to get sort of diminishing returns the more you go down. I like to understand the avatar, their basic demographics, but more than just the demographics. Oh, they live in these zip codes, and they drive a Toyota, and they really like reruns of The Office or whatever, right? Like instead of just focusing on like little things like that, you also want to talk about their psychographic. There's demographic information, which is like the kind of stuff I just mentioned, and then there's psychographic, like their values, their fears, their dreams, stuff like that. And you need to make sure you understand both of those. But yeah, I have some questions you can answer about like defining your avatar in some of the resources. There's like a whole listing about like research questions you can ask, and I have a lot of them about the avatar. We probably will do a dedicated training on just how to understand an avatar, how to create an avatar, how to find the avatar online. So this is like the top of the training, and we're going to go out way more detail to every part of this. This is full 30,000 foot view above everything else, but we'll get to more detailed questions about how to exactly define an avatar.
Sounds good. Thanks, bro.
All right. Well, cool. We've answered some questions. Let's move on now to keep the time in this brief. So we've talked about how to find customers to sell to. And that's important. It's a little more difficult for people who are first starting out. So a lot of you guys who haven't got your first client or something like that, it can be difficult if that's what you focus on from the get-go. It's generally easier for you to get results for clients by showing up and helping them sell more to their existing customers for a lot of reasons. One, they've already got a trust relationship between the brand and the customers, right? So you can build on that. And it's generally where most people have their biggest mistake. Like most people can somehow find customers, but a lot of people have a hard time selling more to their existing customers here. So let's talk about how you can do that. So the key is that you don't just sell more just by like selling more. Like, hey, I've just, here's another form you can put in, $100 on this one. It's about being able to provide more value. Again, if you remember the very beginning, basically all businesses are is you exchange value for money. You give them something worthwhile, you create an outcome in their life, and they give you money, right? So this kind of answers your question earlier, Laris, because you were asking, hey, what do you do if you have a customer and they're like, they don't really want to sell more to their current customers they already sold to? You have to help them realize that it's not so much about just like taking more from them. It's about finding new ways to give value to those customers, right? So if they really want to help these people to the most, like the highest ability they can, they need to find ways to bring more value to them and charge more money to them in order for that trade to exist and move on, right? So especially where people are more like purpose driven, really tap into that. Like, look, what you're currently doing is changing lives. It's making a huge impact on people's lives. Let's do more of that. And let's do that at a higher level. Like, I want to help you do that to even make an even higher impact. And then they get all high and excited about it, right? So anyways, let's move on. So this really brings up an important point. Some of you guys have read .com Secrets. In it, Russell Brunson, who's like the founder of ClickFunnels, good online marketer guy to listen to, he talks about something called the value ladder, right? And this is one of the examples from the book, I believe. And so basically, as the value goes up, like businesses, so like I said, you sell more to them by providing more value to them. So you might start off initially with like a free quiz. So it doesn't cost anything, just some attention and an email, but they get a corresponding amount of value for that, right? So you help them to solve their problems to a certain extent, right? Then you might come up with a free plus shipping, like a low ticket offer. It's like I think for most of these people, it's like $7.99 or something like that. This is actually Russell Brunson's funnel pretty much here. You buy the .com Secrets or whatever, you pay $7.97 for shipping and handling, right? Low ticket, that's basically to pay for the cost of traffic, and you get a little bit more information, right? Then you sign up for the Invisible Funnel webinar, pay, I don't know, $100 or something like that, and get a little more value. You keep going all the way up until you're at the inner circle. You're paying $40,000 a year to go to a cool room with a bunch of other fun marketers, learn a bunch of stuff, right? But as you can see, the more money, the higher you pay, the more value that you can give. And that's important, right? You can't just give away this for free because it won't work at scale. You need to be able to have some funds in order to like book the hotel and do all these fun, cool things, take everyone out for dinner. Like they're seriously related. There's also the idea of continuity. So instead of just going up and having, your front end ticket price go up, you might want to have a membership program, something that is a reoccurring revenue month after month or something like that. So this is kind of to show how most businesses do that. They start off with like a free lead magnet, low ticket offer, mid-ticket offer, high ticket offer, right? And the further up you go, the more in the value ladder, the more you can make, the more profit you're going to make, and the more that you're going to be providing as well as far as value. So that's the idea of the value ladder, right? So let's talk about how you actually do this. So if you show up to a business and you realize that they need to find a way to sell more to their customers, there's basically 3 ways you can help them sell more to their customers. Number 1 you can increase the volume of the touch points that are used to sell or send customers up the value ladder. So that's if you show up and you realize they're sending a monthly email to their newsletter, right? Hey, if you 4x that, you'll probably 4x their sales, right? If you 4x the number of emails that are going, that are positive value driven emails that have a good pitch at the end of it, you'll probably help them 4x their sales just by increasing the volume of it, right? So a lot of people have low volume. So if you can help them do higher volume, that's your first thing you can do. That's the first mathematical lever you can pull. Number two, you can improve the conversion rate of the existing touch points. So you can go in and help them improve their sales page or landing page. You can help them write better emails, better landing pages for their lead magnets, better sales pages for this, better follow-up sequence or welcome sequence, things like that. Sort of existing series of touch points, these funnels that are used to take someone who's new and send them into a product. You can make those work better by speaking better than better copywriting. And number three, and this is an advanced one, advanced mode, you can help clients add new rungs to the value ladder. So instead of just making the conversion rate higher, you can, let's go back here, you can help them add new rungs. So maybe they have a free value and a low ticket item, but they don't have a mid-ticket program or a high ticket program. You can then step in and help them launch one of those, which is a beast. You have to understand how programs work. You have to understand the avatar really well, and you have to understand a lot of things. But a lot of you guys are gonna get to that pretty quickly. Once you've gotten good at number one, number two, number three becomes a lot easier. So that's how you turn around and help them sell more to who they already have. You help them find ways to ascend those clients further and further up that value ladder to where you're providing more and more value, solving more and more of their problems in better and better ways. And they pay you more and more money, obviously, as you do that. And it's essential if you want your clients to be able to make bigger impact in the lives of the people that they are paying them money, you have to help them learn how to do that well, right? It's essential. So how to use all this information to sell better to clients. So now that I've taught you a little bit about the big picture overview of how online businesses work, kind of the math behind it, I can show you how to use this to sell better. And a quick point on this. It doesn't matter how good your marketing is if the math is poor, right? If the economics, the actual physical economics are poor, as in the volume is too low, or there aren't systems in place to have a high lifetime value per customer, then it doesn't matter how good your copywriting is. Chances are you're going to lose. You're going to lose someone who has better economics. So step one is the economics. Step two is the quality of those offers. And then step three is how well you can write the marketing, right? And I want you guys to show up and understand step one and step two, so then you can use the skills we teach here in step three. I teach you all of them, but I'm going to teach you like the skills you actually bring as the copywriter, creating that touch point to then help those companies grow and scale. So let's talk about different ways that you can use this information to help sell better to clients. So when you look at online business, you'll be able to tell pretty quickly which of these they're doing good at. You'll be able to tell how good they're doing at finding new customers and how well they're doing at selling to those customers, right? You'll be able to tell if they don't have a big audience and they've got a bunch of products and stuff in the back end, you can know, hey, maybe they're doing a fairly good job of selling to the customers they have. And we should probably help them. So like, yeah, if they're good at finding new customers, but they aren't getting much profit from those customers, say they've got huge audience, big email list, but they're not making that much money from it. You can help them ascend more customers up the value ladder doing those three things. Or if on the other hand, they're good at ascending people up and like providing value at higher and higher levels, they've got a decent value ladder, you can then step in and just help them find new people, right? You can always see which of those two sides they're weakest at, right? And but really it doesn't matter if they're really weak or not, they all have goals. They're trying to get somewhere else. So you need to find out what their goals and dreams are and then pick the right solutions to help them get to their goals, right? If they're doing good, but they want to do really good, right? They want to grow and scale and get to more and more people, then you step in and help them find new people to sell to. You understand their avatar, create new sources of traffic for them. You bring more people into their world and sell them a lot of cool products, help them grow. If they're good at doing that, but they really want to take people, say they bring people in, but their main goal is they want to make a huge impact on people, help them ascend people up the value ladder. It's fairly simple. It's basically math. Now you guys have sort of the keys, the 30,000 foot view. You can see, the right levers to pull to grow any online business. So you can talk to anybody on that discovery call. They can tell you about what they're doing, and you'll be able to see instantly, this man needs to ascend people up his value ladder more. He needs to get more people from his list by that first low ticket product, because none of them have, right? We can make that happen. You can change the marketing up. Or you can say, hey, this guy's doing good. We need to help him do this at scale. We need a 2x, 3x his audience size. How do we do that? You'll know really quickly how to help them scale, how to reach their goals. And then Now it just really gets up to you. Once you know what deliverables, what copywriting deliverables you need to create to do these things, you just got to get good enough to actually write good copy that makes it happen, right? Which is what we practice day in and day out inside of this channel. So that's the 30,000 foot view. That's how online businesses work, and that's how you can look at them and how you can look at what they're doing in order to show up and help them better. So, what questions you guys have? Open Q&A. Let's talk about specifically this training, the things we talked about, the questions you have related to this. So, let's dive in. Who has questions?
Yeah, Andrew. Hi.
We got Daniel. Oh, let's go with you. So you can like actually raise your hand, like the little emoji thing. Let's go with
Okay.
Daniel here, Mr. Daniel Davis. You raise your hand. What's up?
I was gonna plug my microphone, but I'm good. So say you're in a so you have a client, but they're really small and you want to help them grow. Is there a certain level, like if you can see you're not really gonna get them like more money, and like you kind of like at the end of your road, should you move on to new clients or should you keep trying to grow that person's audience?
So you have to look at the opportunity cost right here, right? Sure, you could show up and help somebody who doesn't have an audience, doesn't have a lot of products or a good value ladder. You could build their whole brand for them, right? But with all that time that you're spending, you could show up to a business who already has one of those other two things and then massively grow it and make a lot of money, right? So you have to ask yourself, which is the best use of your time? That's why in the copywriting, like the selling copywriting service tutorial, I'm like, hey, take a look at these different companies and decide which one, like only reach out to people who have a certain audience size, or you can obviously tell are making money. It's better to help someone get better at doing these things than help them start doing them from the very beginning.
Gotcha.
I had a friend in high school named Daniel Davis, so I had to like double check real quick. Like, wait, is that you? Is that you, Daniel? But no, that's not Daniel. Anyways, nice to meet you. Okay, Belmeen, you got your hand up. What do you got?
Yeah, I think it's answered already, but you spoke about step one being the economics. So do you mean that they have like money coming in? Is that what you mean?
Well, that's certainly a good thing. Yeah. No, when I say by economics, I'm talking about specifically maximizing the lifetime value per customer, right?
Okay.
Most people, for example, say you're a business owner and you've got a $99 a month program, right? That's it. That's all you got. And your average person stays for 6 months. Your total lifetime value for the maximum someone could ever pay you is $600, right? And then on average, based on the number of customers you have, it actually turned out to be $20, right? If all you get per customer is $20, you're gonna have to, it's really tight margins, like to go out and spend money on marketing, spend money on anything else to really serve those people. Your limit is $25.99 if you want a 0.01% return on your, or whatever, right? Tiny return on your investment, right? So when I say good economics, I mean, and good math, I mean, set up that value ladder to where you can have a high lifetime value per customer, right? If you have that, you can make higher profits, which can then fund your growth and can fund a bunch of other things, your performance and all those other stuff, all those other important things. That's step one. Also, the other side of the mathematics is just the scale, right? If you have a highly converting system that every single person you put in popped out $10,000 in profit for you within 24 hours, but you could only put in one person every 5 years, would it be worth it for you? No, right? Like you have to fix that volume problem. You have to be able to say, hey, how do we get like 1,000 people per day? How do we do that, right? So there's the two sides of it, right? So how can you increase the volume of people you're helping, and how can you maximize lifetime value per person? So that's what I say when I'm saying, hey, the math has to be good. You want to make sure there's enough of both sides of the equation to make it worth your time.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Thanks.
Cool. All right. Saad, how do you say your name?
It's a Moroccan name, so it's Saad. It means luck in Arabic, but it means being sad in English. So
okay. All right.
Yeah,
well, what do you got? What's your question?
Okay, bro. So if for example, I'm pitching an email, I'm pitching the client for some email marketing for like $600 the first month because it's half priced. And I found out during the sales call that the problem is actually his sales page, because it sucks. So would you suggest, because I just heard your advice about the value ladder, but would you suggest to first get done with the email marketing and then pitch him the sales page, or do both, or
Yeah,
pitch
excellent
the sales
question.
page first and then?
So there's another factor, another layer you need to consider here, and that's the discovery project, how that's set up. Typically, when you set up, you show up to a business, you can tell there's a bunch of things they've got to fix, right? You're like, okay, the sales page is junk. We've got to change the number of emails. We've got to add this product. We've got to fix this landing page to convert better. We've got to put in a new welcome sequence so we can fix the conversion rate. There's a whole list of things you can do, right? And some of those things are going to provide huge impact. Like if you fix that guy's sales page, that's a huge impact thing. That changes the conversion rate of his entire thing and the percentage of people that move on to the next step. Huge value add, right? And it's something that's going to last for a long time. You do that work, it's going to last for 12, 24, 36, 70, like all those months. Might last for 10 years, right? If you're a really, really good one, right? So typically you're going to look at all the ways that you can help them improve their business, and you're going to pick one that's easy, right? Easy and small, so that you can get your foot in the door and build that trust relationship, right? For example, so that sales page, you might charge him $10K to write a sales page, right? If you're decent, you're right, charge $10K to write a sales page, right? And that might be like for you jumping him up to really high part of your value ladder, right? You might not be ready for that, for the trust relationship you built up to that point. You haven't exchanged anything else but time and attention. You might want to exchange some money first to make sure you get that relationship going so you can more easily upgrade them, right? So in that case, you might pick emails, send out some emails, get some results for him, and then use that trust that you built with that relationship to then target the next big thing, which in this case sounds like it's gonna be a sales page, right? You can do both at the same time, but I want you to get paid well for both, right? So typically that discovery project keeps it small and affordable, so it doesn't feel like a big risk for them. You're still getting paid well for the time that you're investing, but it's not a huge risk for them. So I recommend for your discovery project, you pick something small. But if you already have a relationship with him, if you've already done it 2 or 3 times, yes, the next thing you should do is pitch him on doing that sales page for sure.
Okay. Just one last question. But do you think that, okay, so how do we actually bring it on? Like how do we bring on the subject of upselling them to the sales page?
Good question. So if I was you, so typically you have that already mapped out after that first discovery call, right? So you do the discovery call, you get to know them, you build some rapport, and you learn about their business, their situation, their goals. You know where they are, you know where they're trying to go, right? That's the game. We find people where they are, and we move them to where they want to go. So you find where they are, you figure out where they want to go, and then in your mind, because of this training, you're gonna know all the things basically they need to do to get there. You're like, well, first we're gonna do a discovery project so we can send some of this and get you some revenue coming in. Then we need to fix this sales page. Then we need to launch this new product. Then we're going to revamp this whole welcome sequence, right? Like maybe you already kind of have this mapped out. And then you sit down and be like, hey, Steve, this is where you're at now. This is where you want to go. This is how I think you need to get there. You do this, and you do this, and you do this, and you do this. You map out basically the scope of work you're going to do for the next 3 months for them. But then you say, okay, you need all this to get there. Let's start with this small step. Let's do a discovery project. That way you get to know me, I get to know you. We get to exchange money, money will exchange hands, and we get to iron out some of the details here. And then once we're done, we can move on to the bigger stuff. So then it's already in their brain. So then when they finish that project and it's as amazing as you told them it was, and they're like, sure, yeah, let's keep going. They already know that by saying yes to the discovery project, if it goes well, they're already pre-closed on the idea of you doing that next thing. It's not like you just pitch them on one tiny thing and you have to pitch them on something completely new, because then their expectations are like, okay, we did this piece of work and I want to do more work. Whereas instead it's like, hey, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. We'll start with something small, and then we'll do bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. We'll trade our way up, right? Same principle. Answer your question?
Thank you so much. Thanks.
All right, awesome. All right, Finley, what's your question?
Could you cover Laris from Paris's question about
I don't know
clients?
Laris from Paris. I just know a guy named Laris.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
He's been promoted. He's been promoted to not Laris from Paris. He's now just Laris. He's earned it.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But could you cover his question about clients who are scared of selling?
Yeah, so the reason that people have this problem is because they think they're taking money away from people and it's a one-sided exchange. They feel bad about taking someone's money. If they had more confidence and if you help them focus instead on the value that they're providing, and they know they're providing 10 times the value that they're ever asking for in price, that objection quickly goes away, right? One of the ways you can do this is when you're talking with them, and I recommend you only work with people that do this, you need to talk about how they're changing people's lives, how they're actually changing people's lives. Be like, look, people are in this terribly frustrating place. You're helping them get to this amazing place and changing their lives, right? Like we need to find more ways to help them, right? And provide more and more value. You're going to do it at a really reasonable price, right? The trick isn't so much that you're like taking money from them in a one-sided transaction. You're finding ways to provide. You basically just, when you had the conversation with them, you're like, hey, let's find ways to help them even more. How can we provide even more value for them? What can we do, like a special event this month? Let's do a special event this month that can get people excited about X, Y, Z. Let's put it together, and yeah, no, do this. It's definitely gonna help them change this. And you're getting all these resources, and sure, let's charge $1,000 for it. That's a steal for how much they're getting, right? It's such an amazing chance for them to change their lives. You just flip it and focus it completely on how they're helping someone, right? That's what I would do. And that's what I have done with people that have been somewhat hesitant about selling to know what's too much. You just show them, hey, we're not selling, we're giving away so much. And sure, we're taking a little bit of money, but we're giving away so much there. So that's how you approach it. Victor, what do you got for me?
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, shoot, go for it, Chief.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I had a really big aversion to that at first as well, and then I had that client like a while back that I got, like that golf client, and I just never really, like, nothing ever panned out because I failed to address like what you said about, like, you know, this is more like he was doing low ticket shit, and I was like, bro, you need to charge more, and then just never worked out. And then like my most recent client that I just closed with like the massive deal, like the reason he was like, bro, the reason I jumped on the call, he's like, I already make a ton of money. He's like, the only reason I jumped on the call was because you kept mentioning, like, I mentioned like you want to have a bigger impact on people's lives. Like what we're doing here is going to help you have a bigger impact on more people's lives and help you reach more people. And he's like, that's when we jump on a call. And then like he's like, I already make a lot of money. I don't really need to make more money, but I want to impact more people. And that's kind of what I think is like a really good to mention to people is like, you know, you're doing a disservice to your clients by not pitching them these things. Like you're doing a disservice to these people. They could have a better life, but you're not helping them by impacting them. So I think if you use that frame, it kind of like frames in their mind like, oh shit, I am doing a disservice to my clients. So I found that works really well.
Ethically owe it to them. You should.
Yeah, I've heard Ben Settle say that a lot as well.
Because it's true. That's why you hear all the marketers say it, because it's true. And that's it's one of the keys to how the wealthy people think. It's a win-win. It's a mutually beneficial thing. It's attractive to wealth, right? So you might work with people that have some type of limiting beliefs around that. And one of the ways that you can provide value to them that will increase the way that they trust you and the amount that they will pay you over time is if you help them break some of those limiting beliefs. I would avoid people, if you can, that are like scared to like sell more to people if you can. But if it comes up after you've had some positive interaction with somebody, then just fix it, keep moving, no big deal. Answer your question. You got anything else for us, Finley? Any other questions?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thanks, Andrew.
Awesome. Cool. All right, Victor, what do you got?
Yeah, so Andrew, I have a question. How do I get people to take me seriously enough to actually let them like see what free value I have to offer them?
For like your cold email outreach?
Yeah, because I haven't really been getting a lot of responses.
Okay. First off, I'm gonna ask you about the first step, which is the volume question. How many people have you reached out to?
22 so far.
Okay, there's your first problem. You've only reached out to 22 people. That's like 4 hours on your first day. You need to reach out to them significantly more than that. You're gonna be reaching out to at least 22 per day and getting probably 1 out of 20 positive reply rate. That's a pretty good way to go, right? So first off, let's solve the volume problem. That's number one. What's that? You had some other part of your question. What was it?
Yeah, another thing was I couldn't figure out how to send out the emails in bulk. I was only doing them one at a time, so it was taking a lot of time.
So there's a walkthrough training where I do the walkthrough on Streak to show you how to set up the mail merges. Go watch that. It's definitely in the general resources chat. And I think I put it in the number 2 tutorial as well, the selling copywriting services. That'll show you how to do it much, much faster. So, but yeah, that's a volume question first. Have you gone through the training that I've done about how to customize your cold email outreach? Have you gone through that?
No, I've gone through the selling copywriting services and the lessons.
Okay, excellent. So in the general copywriting resources thread, have you found that one yet? Have you found that part of the Discord channel?
I don't think I have.
So under the general copywriting channel, there's a thread. And it's always open, and it's the general copywriting resources thread. I've thrown every training I've ever done in HU2 in there. And then there's a lot of them that are split out into little easy mini classes too. But there's one training I did about how to customize the cold email outreach plan. So like there's that template I give you in the tutorial, right? Which is really effective. But if everyone just does the same template, it quickly loses its effectivity, right? So if you want to learn how to make more people pay attention to you, more people respond to you, and get better and better response rates, aside from just sending it to more people, because 20 is like scratching the surface, my friend. Aside from that, I recommend you go through that training in the general resources thread. It's going to show you exactly how you customize your cold email outreach to get the highest response rate.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so good question. All right,
Is there a way we
Raheem,
can
what do you got?
Is there a way we
Oh,
get like
go for it,
Ace
Chief.
or somebody to like make it an actual channel? Because I feel like so many people when they first come in don't even realize there's like a thread because it's kind of hard to find.
Yeah,
Does
we
it
can
have
move
to,
it to
like,
channel.
go
We had it
into
as a
the-
channel first, and we moved it to thread. We can move it back to channel. How we structured, yeah, it'll be interesting to see exactly how we where we put it. But yeah, we might have to take a look at it, see if we can swap it over for us. Victor, what do you got?
All right, sir. Good night.
Yeah. Oh, how you doing, Raheem? What do you got?
So don't mind the accent. I'm from Jamaica. Sorry, but I just finished the selling copywriting resort. The selling
Awesome.
copywriting. So what I'm doing is starting a freelance copywriting business, but
Okay.
I just recently found a niche, but it's kind of hard to like get my first client. So I was asking if you could help with that, like to get my first client. Any tips you could help?
Any tips for getting your first client? So tell me what you've done so far to get your first client. How long have you been working to trying to get your first client?
About 2 weeks now.
2 weeks. Have you done the exercise I just shared in the copywriting channel about writing down a list of people you know who have businesses and approaching them?
No, I didn't.
Okay. That's step number one. So that's going to be the quickest way for you to get someone to work with, either for a testimonial or for pay. That's going to be your fastest way to do it. You've already got, people who know people, and somebody in there has either an online business or a business with an online presence. And you can step in and use what we talked about today, plus the other resources in the channel to help them grow that, right? And there's a little exercise. I just replied to it recently. It's a pin thing. It's in the copywriting resources channel as well, or thread as well. Oh man, you got me all twisted around there. But it's in the copywriting thread right now, the general resources thread. It'll show you how to go through that and how to approach people. That's the fastest, most effective way to do it. So that's what I recommend.
Thanks.
Cool. Awesome. All right. What other questions do we have? Holy cow, we got 96 messages in the chat. Oh man, degenerates. All right, what do we got? Okay, any other questions about this training? Any other questions about this training, about the idea of like how businesses work and how you can best help them make more money? Has this been helpful? Has this given you guys insights about how to sell better to your current clients, anything like that?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So another question in the chat: how do we get over anxiety about thinking we really deserve the money? What do you mean? Oh, well, we got a lot of hands up. Let's talk about this real quick. So Volks Champ, do you have audio capabilities? Can we talk this through?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Volks Champ. So tell me more about what you're talking about here.
I'm talking about like before you have your first clients and for the first calls with them.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you just have to do it and then you get over it?
Yeah. So tell me, are you like mentally challenged at all? Do you have like any kind of mental impairments, anything?
No.
Okay. Yeah, you're fine. You can get results for people.
All right.
No, like legitimately, like I'm not trying to hate on anybody. I'm just telling you, like, if you have at least average intelligence, which you're in Hustlers University, you're probably above average intelligence, right? You made a smart decision, right? It's a good indicator of your intelligence level, right? You have to realize that you can do anything. The world is open to whatever you decide. So if you find a business and you look at this, you look at it through the situation, you know that they need to get better at selling to their current customers a product that they have. If you tell yourself, I'm going to figure out a way to improve this, and then you're just willing to put in the work and the time it takes to do so, I guarantee you can find a way to do it. Right? Are you like, you're intelligent, right? Like you know how, like, if you decided, hey, I will do what it takes to find a way to improve this. Like, are you confident that you could actually do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you're good. Then you're worth the money. If you can provide the value, if you decide to find a way to provide value and you're willing to put in the work to make it happen no matter what it takes, then you're fine. There's like, be extremely confident when you talk to people because you have the ability to make it happen.
All right. Thanks.
And I'm going to be, so the next little training that I'm going to be doing, I have a mindset training that I'm going to be doing for you guys, and I'm going to address some of these common fears and anxieties. And basically, well, I'm kind of going to. I'm just going to tell you to forget all of that stuff that normal people do and focus and think in a different way. So we're going to talk more about that. But that's a good question. I'm glad you asked it. But dude, you've got this. You're intelligent. You have this. You have all of HQ2 to help you too. You got questions? Throw up the copy review. We've got excellent people besides myself who will step in, and everyone will help you get what you like, make it happen. So, dude, take their money and provide the results. You'll find a way to do it. I know you will. All right.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Next question, Mr. Sad. You got a question for us? What do you got?
Yeah, man, I have two quick questions, very quick questions. So the first one is yes. So for example, like I know two business owners, local business owners, and they have a pretty decent Instagram following. So I was thinking, and since we already have a really great relationship, I will easily close them. For some testimonials. So what I ask is like they have some pretty decent Instagram following. Would you suggest to get them like some quick sales and to do that like IGDM their followers and like offer them like a discount on their product? Is it a good idea? Do you think that it's a quick way to make them more sales?
So I'd sit down and ask them what their goals are. Do the same process you would for a normal sales call, right? Ask them where their goal, like learn about where they are, what it's really like, where they're trying to go, and then it's going to come to you really clearly. This is what I need to do to help them get where they need to go. So all this work, right? You just sit there and tell them like, hey, this is what we could do. We could do this, 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 and this. I say we just start with this. Hey, you're my friend. Let's do it for free. Just give me a percentage if it works out. Easy way to work with somebody who you already know. Lean on that relationship you already have, and then once you've said you're going to get them results, go out there and do the work and get them the results. And it might be promoting something on their Instagram, doing a couple IG posts for them. That might be it. But it just depends on what their actual goals are. I advise people to show up to sales calls without a whole lot of bias about what they think they're going to do for them, and instead let the client's goals and dreams and problems dictate what they actually provide. Because that's what you're there for, right? You're not trying to push a solution on them. You're trying to find out what they need and then just providing that thing for them. Yeah.
Like you said, we're problem solvers before being copywriters.
Yeah, we're problem solvers, man. Sure, we write copy and we build the touch points, but we find problems and we solve them for all sorts of people, up and down the whole thing, from our clients to their customers. So yeah.
Okay, and the second question: would you suggest like to do the whole like sales page and everything, and the funnel for example my services? So for example, create a sales page and everything, and advertise for it, and the free value would be like a free consultation call and a free email sequence. But
you're talking about like advertising your copywriting services?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to go about it from like an advertising thing. Most of the time, though, long form sales page and a free strategy session are very, very common in this space. The problem with doing things that are very, very common is they don't stand out and they sometimes don't work, right? There's ways to advertise what you do, but really, guys, we're not really trying to start an agency here, right? It's not like you're really trying to get like 50 clients. You can't handle 50 clients. The whole goal here is for you guys to find 3 to 4 clients and take them from where they are and grow them and level up the kind of projects you're doing with them until you're making 10K plus a month. And you can run around and do whatever you want, right? Yeah. Then you can play more fun games after that. So building the whole big marketing machine, getting paid ads all set up and doing strategy calls and scaling up, it quickly becomes like a bunch of work for very little return because you're really just trying to get 3 or 4 people to work with that you can then level up to higher and higher levels and make 10K a month, right? It's faster to do that through reaching out to your own network and then directly cold outreaching one-on-one to a few people and earning their trust with free value. It's faster and more efficient that way. So it might be a good exercise. It might be a fun thing to do sometime on a Sunday night if you've already reached out to everybody in the world, right? But it's not something I recommend most people in Hustlers University focus on at this point.
Okay, thank you so much, bro.
Yeah. All right. Daniel, what do you got for me?
All right, so this is kind of like a question more about the future, but kind of like down along the line. Once we're making 10K a month as a copywriter, what's the next step? Like, what would you do?
After that?
Yeah,
Next, you join the war room and you get the real work. You get started with the real work.
gotcha.
I mean, 10K a month is fun, but it's the bottom of the mountain, man. There's so much more going on. So there's a lot of other things you can do with your money. Obviously, you can do you can start launching your own offers. You can start investing in a few other things. But there's some really important work you need to do on yourself and in the world to just get ready for what's coming. So once you're making 10K a month, or as soon as you possibly can, get inside the war room, get started on the real work that we have to do. That's the next step for sure. Ace, what do you got for me?
All right. I have a potential client. Now say like I want to make ads for him.
Okay.
Would I do that off commission or would I charge him for the ad?
It
What would
really
be
depends on how you negotiate the situation. It really depends on how you negotiate it, right?
Got
Typically with ads, it gets a little tricky to do commission deals because most people are just breaking even on that front end, right? So they pay for ads, they give them a lead magnet, and they upsell them. They're generally just breaking even. So if you try and get a commission on the ads, it's just like adding an extra cost. So typically, it's gonna be a man. You're gonna pay a management fee to manage the ads for them. But it really depends on the situation and how you want to negotiate it, right?
Okay.
Which kind of the point being that like you want to connect your efforts to revenue when possible, right? And you want to make it to where they're not, when possible, you want to mitigate the risk for them and for you, right? So you want to think about different ways to structure the deal. If you're doing Facebook ads for them though, you might just have them pay for the ad itself, for the creation of the ad itself on like a project basis or a monthly management fee, instead of trying to do commission, unless you like own the whole business, and then it's a different story. But
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
all right. What other questions do we have, gentlemen? Any other questions? All right. Guys, it's been a good one. I've enjoyed putting this together for you, and I think this is going to be key. This is going to be like video number 2 or 3 in the new tutorial series because it's so foundational. Understanding this is so foundational. Once you understand the big picture, then you understand where the copywriting fits into the pieces, and you can wield the sort of copywriting most effectively for these brands and really drive the levers that are going to drive their growth and help them achieve their goals. It's going to help you guys sell better, you help you guys make more, and help you guys actually create better copy for the people you work with. So here's what we're going to do. If anybody else has any other questions, just throw them in the copywriting chat, tag me in them, I'll answer it. I'll drop this recording and the slides once they're uploaded, processed, and all that stuff. But until then, if you guys have questions, throw them in the chat. Let's go out and let's take some money. I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday.
Thanks. Peace.
Peace out.
See you guys
later.